Hello guys! It has been a very, very hot minute since I last vlogged. I am back though. And this is gonna be the start of a completely new journey. Today is December 8th, 2017. And once again, like I said, it's the start of something new. I just came off my last show 3 weeks ago, and I did the Ferrigno Legacy pictures. I got 10th place at this show, and this was my 6th show of the year and my 10th show as a pro. Obviously, I am not too happy with. I'm happy with how far I've come in this route, but there's so much more that I want to accomplish, and things are changing. And that's the purpose of this vlog and this series, and it's just about change and where I'm headed and how everything's just gonna come together, the good and the bad, and you know, seeing how everything happens. So right now, Joe and I are in Colorado, and we're here to come see Adam Bonilla from Team Elite Physiques, and we're gonna do some testing. Metabolic testing, training testing, just a bunch of stuff. You guys are gonna see it all. Julia, who's another pro, is gonna come pick us up, and we're gonna have a workout together, 2 workouts together, and it's just gonna be an amazing day. So stay tuned, and I'll keep you guys updated on everything. Alright, but first we're gonna start off by eating some Ben & Jerry's. Just kidding.
Better hurry before she gets here.
I know. So I packed up some meals in my rebuild bag and my rebuild containers. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I wasn't able to pick up my meals yesterday. So, and I reused my containers, but I do have the pancakes, which I'll show you later. But for now, time to eat. Hey guys, so we're here. Our arm burst. And I'm here with Julia. Julia, come out! So Julia here, she's another IFBB Bikini pro.
Yeah.
She's done like 3 shows together. We're gonna walk over here. Oh, so we can show the gym. The gym. So we're gonna take you through the day, so stay tuned, my friends.
Oh my gosh!
Oh my God.
I can't believe you're here!
4 weeks. So this is Adam from Team Elite Physiques.
And Julia.
I already,
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
I just got here. Ready to go in?
Let's do this.
Do it.
That's a spot right there.
Good.
See a sign that says
Are you gonna see a spot?
that would be something good to remember.
Oh, I see it.
Careful, Joe, this time. It's like they took off the handicap section
Yeah.
to make it.
No handicap.
I'll just be like taping.
What about those pants?
I'm going to put this on your nose, and the goal is that you can't breathe in through your nose. So I have to hit the right spot, so you're going to throw it on. There you go. Try to breathe in. And the goal is that you can't. So, yeah? Right spot? So,
I guess so.
you can't, right?
Yeah.
So then you just adjust it.
I think we're...
Okay, cool. So what we're going to do is you're going to breathe on this. Right there.
Yeah, you don't want any air escaping.
Yeah. Try to make sure it's the right spot. There you go. So you're just going to put a tight seal around that. This sucks, it's 10 minutes and it kind of dries your mouth out, but it's the only way to touch your
So, like,
just breathe in through it, yeah, and we'll start reading you right away. It takes 10 minutes. And so what it's doing is it's testing how much air you breathe out and how hot the air is. And with those 2 things, you can figure out how many calories you're burning. So that's basically the sign of how many calories you're burning is how much air they got a giant body was going to breathe a lot more hotter air than you know, so it burn a lot more calories. So.
What is it?
It's 1541. Yeah, so
I'm doing terrible.
You're not doing it.
so
Make me straight, dog.
Place of improvement.
yeah, that's a place of improvement for you.
It's a good number to know, that's for sure.
Yeah. So basically, your resting metabolic rate is 1541. For someone like you who's super active, who works out all the time, has a good amount of muscle on her, I would say it's a little low.
What do you recommend?
Well, so here's the thing. There's nothing wrong. You have to figure out what you want to do, okay, long term. So here's the deal. If you continue to prep right now, you say you want to start prep again, and you probably have 4 more weeks of gaining or so, and getting your metabolic rate up a little bit, you're going to get this calorie range. This is not going to improve during that time because you're going to go right into dieting again. So you have to ask yourself, and we have to figure it out. We can do the scans, we do all that stuff, and say, okay, do I want to make improvements and gain muscle, or do I want to just be tighter than last time? Because you can do either. You can make improvements on the stage by being tighter, or you can make improvements by having more muscle, but that's going to take longer, and then you can also improve your metabolic rate when doing that. Every prep you do in this scenario is going to be harder. Okay, and if you do another show after this, it's going to be harder than that. So every time you do this, you're going to get a lower metabolic rate until you take a good amount of time where you're trying to correct it. Ideally, what happens is you get your metabolic rate to full speed, called metabolic capacity, right? Which for you, I'm guessing is somewhere in that 20, like, honestly, I'd be surprised if we couldn't get it to 2,000, like, resting metabolic rate. So another 460 calories burn. With just how you're built, I just see you being like maybe even 2,100, like resting metabolic rate, if not higher. I've had girls your weight and stuff like at the 2,800. So it makes the prep so much easier.
I bet.
Yeah, because
you eat more and everything.
You eat more, you're super full.
Feel better.
You just feel better. Your workouts don't suck towards the end. But you're not going to have that luxury if you prep. But it's up to you. If you want to grind and do it, then you're so lean that it's still, you're only going to have a 10-week, 12-week prep.
Right.
Anyway, so you can still get some of the benefit, right? So there's no wrong move. You're kind of right in the middle. Long term, I mean, you should take 6 to 10 months, like, of just like gaining, making improvements, and getting your 1,000 watts full speed. And because the more you do this, the harder it's going to get.
Right.
Back-to-back shows. So my thing is, what I like to have, it's so much different now this year because they've changed the whole Olympia qualification. It's really changed like the approach too. My general approach, unless it's with a girl like Julia's always stays pretty lean all year, is that we get someone in shape for like a 3-month cluster of shows, and then the rest of the night. So I feel like your shoulders and arms are pretty good. I feel like they could. Yeah, I think your width's good. I think you could even push that a little more without paying a price for it. Yeah. If you look at like the shoulder from the top, it's not like overdeveloped. It's just getting there. So I think especially like in this rear delt, how it flattens out here a little bit too much. I think you use a little bit more pop there, but not too much. Right?
Okay.
The arms and all, I think they look pretty good. You could probably do just a tiny bit more on there, but without losing, too much femininity there. The waistline, I would agree. I think you can bring that down. We can see structurally how it's not coming in as much as it can. And that's common. A lot of girls have that, but I think you can improve that though. And you can see this side comes in a little more than that side. So the smallest part of your waist is 23.99, which is pretty good. Biggest part of your hips, 34.26. So you have a 10-inch jump from there. So here's the thing: if you bring this down an inch or so, well, you're going to bring an inch down probably from just body fat of shows, But if you train this to be even tighter, and you bring it down another inch, maybe 2, we get yours 2 inches down over time, right?
It was 2 inches in just, how long was that, like 5 months?
Yeah, it was a lot of training, like training the weights. But we're talking 2
like
inches
vacuums and
from
waist
her.
trainer.
Yeah, 2 inches from her being contest lean to her being contest lean again.
Right.
So it wasn't like 2 inches off season versus in season. You know? So that if you got yours down to 20, let's say you lose half inch to 1 inch of fat for a show, you'd be 23, and then you lost 2 inches from training it, you'd be at 21. That'd be freak show. You know, if you had that with 1 more inch on the glutes or so, that'd be freak show. Right now, the jump from 24 to 34 is a 10-inch jump. It's very, you have good development on your glutes, but that's gonna be very common. You know, it's gonna be a very common jump, 10 inches. When you get to like 12, 13 inches on the jump, that's when girls get really freaky. You're like, wow, why does she look so crazy? And that's why. So 1 inch here with 2 to 3 inches here with overtraining over a period of time, which you could probably do within the next. You could probably get 2 inches within the next 14 to 15 weeks if you really trained it. And then, and the other thing too, if you look at your quad on your right side, look at how much this part comes out on your quad sweep versus this side. You have more development on this side than this side.
Oh, I have a shorter leg.
Do you?
Yes, I have, and I
Oh
got.
yeah, I saw that in because on one of your stories or something.
Yeah, so I got an insert for it.
Your right leg's a shorter leg, right?
My right leg. Yeah, so and
That
that's
leg's more
why.
developed too.
Even I'm sure if you see it on my glutes, like one of them is more defined than the other one, and it's
Okay.
because like I guess I couldn't push as much.
Okay. So it's something you're aware of. You correct through exercise, basically.
Yeah, like recently though, like
Okay.
I got it measured from the chiro, so I got like the insert maybe like a week ago.
Oh, okay, cool. Well, you can see your right side, the development on it, in the quad sweep. So this leg honestly looks pretty much perfect, like for a bikini. I mean, it doesn't come out too much. There's not too much. What's not working? Someone zoom in like that. So you see like the tapering of it. So that's the thing. You never want to lose that taper, right? They call that ice cream cone taper, where it becomes kind of squared off, right? But you start seeing like the dimples in here where the insertion is. See how much bigger that insertion is?
Yeah.
That right there scares judges. That quad sweep there scares judges. And when it pops out off the side, that scares judges, right? They say, oh, it's too much. You know, they're so... Right, so when you look at exercise, you can look at the anatomy of the muscle and how it's actually broken down, right? So if you look at the quad, you go straight up in. This is a muscle fiber, so it represents the muscle fiber, right? So whenever we elicit force on a muscle group, right, a squat movement goes from here down, right? So go ahead and do a squat. Keep this against her the whole time. All right, so now the position of the quad is where? Of the quad is this way, right? The force is still gravity is still going this way, right? So at this point, it's not optimal for the quad to be worked. So what happens is the glute takes over, right? So go ahead and stand up again. So now, at points in this exercise, it's good for glutes. At points, it is good for quads. So when the weight is most on the muscle fiber in the same direction, it's great for the quads. When the weight is mostly on the glutes, it's great for the glutes, right? So the glutes, but look at how minimal it is in this position. So go ahead and squat again. So still not there, still not there. Only at the very bottom, I'm actually just a little bit off on this, only at the very bottom will this go in the same direction as the muscle, as the force. But even then, the force is straight up and down. The glutes are only slightly upwards, muscle fibers. Right, so go ahead and stand up. So most people think that squats are awesome for training the glutes. The problem is that only at certain points of that range of motion is it good for training glutes. So think of like you training biceps, and then like if you trained biceps but you did one exercise and it only like did this much bicep. Like how much development would you actually get? Not that much, right? So if you take that, you look at the anatomy again, and you say, okay, how am I going to work these? Well, if the muscle fiber of the glute goes this way, right, which is how it goes, it's slightly at angles, but it's pretty much straight like this. Well, then that would mean that if I elicited force this way, that would be the best way to contract it. Essentially what we're doing is if you're trying to do glutes through compound movements, you're trying to do glutes like this with arms. So if you're trying to work your biceps, you're doing an exercise like this to work your biceps. Your biceps actually do work a little bit like this, but not a lot. Okay, that's part of the bicep movement is this. But what if you were to change all of your exercises to do this for your glutes, right? Of course you get a lot of glute, right? So that's the theory of why we do the glute movement. You're going to elicit force only in this direction, and then what's going to happen is you're going to have tension on that muscle the entire time, versus in a squat, if you squat again, at a squat you have tension on it just
Right
there, and then go up to there, and that's it. Very minimal the rest
So
of
like
that.
right below your knee
Right.
joint and above it.
Yeah.
Below knee joint and above it.
So what we're going to do is we're going to do pulse reps today, which will kind of focus on that range of the motion, that part of the motion. But remember, those compound movements aren't that great for glutes. So for someone whose like whole career is based on like glute development for the most part, you know, like you're probably going to make a huge improvement in your glutes by adding that as a priority. It's I mean, to put a level of like importance on bikini girl doing glute bridges, it'd be the most important exercise for you to do. You
Gotcha.
know? So
What about glute kickbacks?
So here's the thing with glute kickbacks. The glutes are a very white muscle fiber dominant muscle group, right? So that means that they respond to load. When we talk about it being like 78%, in the high 70s, percentages of white to red muscle fiber type. So what that means is it requires heavy load for it to get any development. Now, anytime you add stabilization, 1 foot, anything, cable, whatever, you increase stability. Whenever you increase stability, you trade for load. So because of that, you're never going to get the load necessary because you're trying to stabilize your body to do single leg glute kickbacks. Unless there's a machine specifically set up where you're fully stabilized, where it allows you to do it. So like we have a machine here that has the one where you're so set that you can use heavy load. There's a running machine they make where your shoulders, you know that one?
Yep.
Yeah, that one's good. But like ankle cable glute kickbacks, or someone on their knees and doing one glute kickback, like hardly any load, is not going to do anything. So there you go.
Fancy pants time.
Let's do it.
Write the name. I'm gonna call them that. Fancy pants.
There you go.
See how it turns bright red when she gets to the top? So that's what you're looking at, her glutes right there. And they turn bright red when she gets to the top range of the motion. And so that her hamstrings light up too.
Yeah, it looks like
But
her.
you see on her way down, her quads are activating a little bit also.
Yeah, her right glute is deactivating. Her right quad is activating on the way down. And then it puts her places. Yep.
I don't have to do much, I'm always ready. There we go. Much better. Don't worry about that slow negative, Chad. That's an old thing, don't need that. Good. There you go. Do the first.
Both are red. Looks like they're firing out even.
Yeah, good job. Yeah, good job, Steph.
Yeah.
Got it. Got it.
Super even. Good.
Get up there, get up there. Squeeze. This is where you go. These are the ones that count. Get about 3 more. Everything you got. Squeeze. Good.
Together into the ceiling.
2 more.
Together into the ceiling.
1 more. There it is. Good. Yeah. Let's go 1 more step.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I always find like having my feet.
Yeah.